our second little mini episode that we're doing. We've got some really cool announcements, specifically the one that I have been hyping up this entire time, the little secret that I kept even from my team. I have publicly announced it as we have surpassed we are over 1,000 followers on Twitter. We are working on a DiveCloud video game. So this is a little RPG based around conversation that will dive into some really deep lore that I'm not going to completely reveal here. But if you'd like to know more, there are updates constantly on Twitter. Our Twitter is at DiveCloudCast, and I really suggest that you follow it. I do just want to say that I am in the process of moving to a new place and starting a new job, so things have been incredibly busy for me lately. I'm really hoping I can get the next episode out on time, but it might end up being a little late. This is just as a warning. I really am trying to stick to our schedule, though. Again, I'd like to thank everyone for helping us reach that milestone and for listening. We really, really appreciate it. Welcome to DiveCloud.
Oh, excuse me.
Welcome back to
Oh, gosh.
Oh, wow.
What a cold open that
Oh,
was.
my gosh. Excuse me, everybody.
So, welcome back to DiveCloud, a tabletop podcast. Today is a mini episode with Darius.
Hi, I'm Weston Lema. I play Darius Smokebrewer, the Dwarven Forge cleric of the party. And, yeah.
Let's get right into it.
Cool beans. Alright, so Sam just let Whispers and Yangne out, and so she's, like, coming back, I'm assuming.
Yes, she is leading you ahead. She's wearing those robes with silvery wires and these gold cogs on the front. I wasn't expecting another dwarf.
How many have appeared here?
Well, there's the one.
I didn't know he was still around. We haven't heard from him in about 6 months' time.
Oh. Well, he's here with the Warforged. Artemis?
Artemis? Well,
Which, yeah, is the most recent Warforged to have been made.
well, hot darn, I've got one of my own right here. And he's going to point at Voom, and Voom steps forward.
Yeah, Voom was probably around the wall and then steps out. And you see this person pull that hood down, and you see a black short cut hair. And she introduces herself. My name's Sam, and I am the Techno Tamer.
Whoa.
Her eyes light up, and not like not the way you think.
I was like, what?
Gotta be clear now.
I do need to be clear.
We have robots
Her eyes sparkle. Is that
emotionally light.
emotionally light up, and she seems very fixated on Voom.
Mm-hmm.
Come in.
Thank
And
you.
the gate, without any sort of motion or anything, just begins to open.
Cool.
You see inside, now that you're able to really see inside fully, there's a courtyard with this elaborate sculpture of a globe with a robed figure holding it between their hands, and it is floating off of the hand slightly as it spins. There's trees, like very ornate, elaborate-looking trees in a very well-maintained garden.
Mm-hmm.
And you would see a robotic creature with shear-like structures trimming this garden.
Whoa.
Like multiple arms with this tiny central body that is crawling around on the ground.
Whoa. Okay. Darius, I mean, he's just gonna be kind of staring, just like looking around like, whoa. How long have you had this place?
A few months.
It's beautiful. Could you take me to my associate, my dwarven friend? I'd like to ask him some questions.
She nods. She is leading you further into the building, and it's like a traditional stonework place. It's got rounded archways, and it's all very lofty, kind of gothic in that sense.
Okay. So, Sam, was this here castle, was this here before the tower fell, or did you build it specifically for your purposes?
Well, this tower's actually been here for a little longer, but then we built the campus around it not too long ago, a few months ago.
All right. Why doesn't it look like the rest of the city then?
Mostly it's Archie. He really likes that old style look.
He's a hipster.
So, do you have any questions while we make our way into the inner sanctum?
So by the college here, is this a general education purpose, or is this a place where like-minded individuals come to conduct research?
It is a bit of both. We like to bring both in. Some people come in with a lot of experience already, but no one comes in with, technological experience except for yourself and, well, the other dwarf. Mm-hmm. We have a few students here, but honestly, Archie's pretty particular about the people that he lets in. So...
Oh, I'm very honored to be let in then. Thank you very much. How many people do you have here at this campus?
Only about 20 students and about 5 sort of people like ourselves who actually do the brunt of the work. It's a small little operation, but we get a lot done.
I can see that by the size and the sight of the city. Tell me, do you use more modern techniques? Have you created anything new, or are you using old techniques with whatever you bring out of the tower? How do you get what you do done?
Each piece of technology that is brought back is its own little puzzle, I like to think of them as. I'm a techno-tamer. That is my role here.
And what does that mean?
It means that when we bring a piece of technology back, I'm in charge of undangering it, so to speak. Most of the technology that comes through is radically dangerous, and I'm figuring out what not to do to make it kill people.
Oh, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Honestly, especially with Izo's current restrictions on tower entry, we haven't gotten a lot of tech coming through.
That reminds me. Me and my companions, when we were coming to Aether, we happened upon a mechanical elk. It was metal in nature, similar to my friend Vuma, except it had bluish veins and like blood almost. It was rather interesting. I assumed it came from the tower. Did you ever have experience with this being?
That elk was stolen from our college. Almost 3 weeks ago?
Sounds about right.
You said you saw it?
It was about 2 weeks. There was a man named Julian. We found him at a small inn on the way through the forest, and he had it. I set it free. I broke his rules, and I set the creature free. But I'm sorry to say it met a foul fate.
The more information you can give on us, the more we can do with it.
I can write you a full report if you'd like.
We would love that. We're all about reports.
Oh, great.
Darius has found his people.
I have. What other sort of creatures like that have you seen come out of the tower?
Well, there's many I'm afraid I can't speak of. I'm under a strict sort of confidentiality. The only reason I'm talking about the elk is because it was stolen, and we publicly announced that we were looking for it.
Right, I understand.
Other than that, I'm not at liberty to speak. Obviously, you saw that one creature in the garden. It is a groundskeeper.
Did you create that, or did you find it?
We found it, and it honestly, we didn't really do too much to it. It just kind of takes care of things.
Interesting.
It manufactures lawns. It picks up trash. It just maintains. It's quite interesting.
Intriguing. Have you found any sort of sentient, civilization life inside of the tower, or is it just wild? Or what is inside it? What does it look like?
I've never been myself. I've only heard tales and reports about the interior, but it is wild and dangerous.
Great.
It's a very... there's only so much I can tell an outsider like yourself, but it is wild and dangerous and filled with creatures that we still don't understand.
Of course. And one last question for you. Why are they closing off the tower? Are you allowed to know that? Did they tell you?
Even if I didn't know it, I wouldn't be able to tell you.
Yeah. What if I promised I'd give you something in return?
She looks around a little bit. What are you offering?
Well, I've got two things. I've got gold, and I've got our city's special little gemstones. These very interesting...
those crystal things that guy keeps throwing around.
Oh, he already showed them to you. Dang you, Thordrick. I've got more of them if you ever want.
Oh, we've already done a little research on those crystals, but they're interesting. If we're gonna tell you more, we'd have to, bring you in as part of the Technomancer's College. Either that, or you could talk directly to someone who has that information. I know there are some adventurers out there who aren't bound in the same way that we are. When it comes to information.
I can tell you right now, I'm interested in both. I wouldn't be here if I wasn't interested in learning with you all and discovering and tinkering.
Do you plan on going in this tower?
Yes, if I can. If it ever opens back up again.
I wouldn't recommend it. Most people don't come back.
What's the fun in that?
Fair enough. And you reach this inner sanctum, and this is where people do work. Mm-hmm. It is a mixture between like a hacker's den with like wires coming off of things, and then like machinery that looks kind of steampunk-esque, and then there's a few screen things shoved like into a corner that you see someone working on with this strange looking tool that's glowing in their hand, and they seem to be like marking it in some way with a mask in front of their face.
They're welding.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Okay. Very cool. Darius is just kind of baffled. He's going to be just like looking around at everything, like trying to figure out like what each like individual, like how many like stations are there?
There's probably a good like 10 different stations, all with like various complex, strange looking objects on them, and wires and little machine parts and tools hanging on each of them. They're like little separate workstations, and they look like they've been modified to suit the needs of the individual. At the far end, you see about 15 feet tall, so bigger than Voom, is this shining brass entity with steam coming from its joints. As I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
Oh gosh. That's a 15.
Okay, you succeed. As this chunk of like metal and wires comes flying towards you, and you duck underneath it as it slams, and you see Artemis. The things you've known about Artemis is that he has a temper and is quick to anger, unlike Voom, who is very much docile and doesn't act out. Okay. And you see it just steaming out of the cracks of its body. Okay. It has this slanted face. It's locked in this permanent looking scowl built kind of into it.
Okay.
And it is just rampaging, and it is like punching machinery. And you see a tubby dwarf running around behind it, yelling, "Wade, come back! No, this is ridiculous!"
Is that my old friend Thorny?
He turns, and as he turns, he doesn't see a big metal arm swing, and he gets tossed over your direction. And he just tumbles to a stop in front of you. Oh, that one hurt.
I'm gonna Darius is gonna put my foot right on his belly and like look down at him and said, "Hello there, old companion. You've been gone for quite a while now, haven't you?"
Let me explain. And please get off my stomach.
Alright, Darius will help him up and say, alright, that Artemis, how do we stop him? Because, I'm assuming he's just kind of freaking out.
There's a particular treat that he likes.
A treat?
Well, I call them treats, but he doesn't eat.
What?
I lost his favorite toy.
Is he like in his terrible twos? What toy? What are you talking about?
It's a squeaky little mouse.
Oh my goodness gracious!
I don't have it, and I don't have time to make a new one. He's. You see, Sam is just slowly retreating out of the room.
Can I use my Forge Cleric as? Can I make another one?
Yeah, you theoretically.
Yeah. Okay.
What are your abilities?
It is. Oh gosh, what is it called? It's a Artisan's Blessing, so it's a channel ability. So I can just, as long as I have. Oh, it's an hour long. Never mind. It's an hour long ritual that crafts a non-magical item.
I would let you make a check.
Okay.
To do it fast.
Okay. Then I'll like take out a few pieces of scrap metal that I have, like that what I would use for like the shrapnel. It's a 2.
It's very bad.
Of course it's a 2.
You make a mouse.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
All right. Artemis, over here. Look. And then I'm just gonna hold it out.
Okay, you hold it out, and Artemis just rushes towards you, and then grabs it and tries to crush it. And Thordic looks and he's like, "You didn't make it squeak." And then Artemis is gonna go to punch you.
Oh gosh. Am I gonna squeak?
He's making an attack. I didn't quite expect it.
What do you mean you expected? You mean a rampaging robot?
I didn't expect the rampaging robot to quite punch you. 16? Does that hit?
Oh, I think so. I don't know my character sheet up. No, it does not.
So Artemis, and just this giant fist barely misses you as you duck out of the room. Thordic goes, "Oh, it was in my pocket."
Oh my gosh!
And he pulls out this mouse and squeaks it. Squeak, squeak. And Artemis sits down cross-legged and takes it and starts squeaking it.
Oh my gosh! You all right?
Yes, I'm fine.
Darius will help him up to his feet, and then he's gonna headbutt him.
Okay, I think you do that, no problem.
Okay, cool. That's for leaving us behind and not telling the council what you've been up to this whole time. Where have you been?
You have to understand. Ow, by the way, that really hurt.
Hey, you should have.
You have to understand the technical marvels here. I didn't have time to return. There was too much to learn, and I had hoped that the council would forgive any sort of transgression.
There was nothing to forgive. We had all figured you'd died.
It hasn't been that long.
You haven't sent a single letter.
Well.
No, not well. You didn't do your duty. I understand. I came here because, one, I wanted to find you, and that was the best way to let the council let me come to this tower, because I also want to learn from it. But that doesn't mean you can just disappear off the face of the earth.
So you're indebted to me,
no.
Is what you're saying.
No, you gave me a catalyst. I would have found a way here one or another, but you, my friend, are nothing of the sort.
Well, I'll be over here.
Now get back here. I need you to tell me what you've been up to.
His shoulders scrunch up as you grab him back.
I mean, I'll like walk him over to like the empty workstation that I saw him before. What have you been doing here this whole time?
I've been learning and growing as an individual and experiencing life for the first time.
Oh, wow, you really went on a journey.
That's like a college pitch.
Oh, wow, you're really going on a journey, aren't you? So what have you learned? What have you got to show for it?
Well,
you took one of our most beloved possessions, you brought it here, and now he's throwing temper tantrums and crying about a toy mouse.
Well, the toy mouse is more of just a placator. Ever since we've been in town, he's been extremely aggressive.
What caused it?
I'm not quite sure. Electrical interference?
I didn't know that the Warforged had any electricity in them.
Didn't work on any. You'd know better than I would.
So why would you assume that was the problem?
I don't know.
Did you apply any kind of scientific solution to this, or did you just assume one thing?
I'm gonna go to my room. I don't...
No, get back here. I'm not done with you yet.
Oh, please.
All right.
Okay, I learned... I've learned a bit...
Well, I want you to share with me what you've learned. I came here to experiment and to learn on my own, but I can't do that with no knowledge.
So, yeah. What are you trying to learn from him?
At this point, I guess my first thing would be I would want to learn about like the techniques, like what, or if there's any new like kind of laws around the world, like if they've discovered like a groundbreaking gravity kind of thing, like what is like new about like all of this technology that we have never found out before.
The technology from the tower is extremely powerful, and it can be reverse engineered into more technology and recreated in some aspects.
How do you harness the power that comes from these things?
It depends on the objects. Some of them have internal power, and then others run off of crystals that are found inside of the tower. They look like little cubes of crystal, and they...
Is it more magical, or is it like physical?
I've been busy, okay? We've been taking care of Artemis and making squeaky mice.
Oh, that's the peak of your achievement after 6 months is squeaky mice.
I was never an inventor like you, Darius. I don't get any of this.
That's all right.
The only reason I'm here is because my father said that I would do a good job.
All right. I'll stop bantering you. What is this thing they call the grid? I heard someone talk about it when they first came to town. What is that?
There's a man named the Architect who built this city almost single-handedly.
Wow. How?
Magic?
Hi.
Some sort of technology that they're not talking about. Maybe someone else could tell you more. They never tell me anything.
All right.
But there's a grid of electricity that runs underneath the entire city that supplies all of the lighting and the elevators and various machinery.
Intriguing. All right. If you can't answer questions for me, I need you to point me to somebody who can.
And there's the guy who is quote unquote welding in the corner. He's just watching all this go down. That guy. I'll be going now. Thank you for your time.
All right. I'll see you around. I'm not done with you quite yet. I've still got some questions, but none that are more important.
Okay, I'm gonna go now.
Okay.
Bye.
Goodbye. I'm assuming he just walks off.
Yeah, and he's taking Artemis with him. There's like a big archway that's open, big enough for him to pass through.
Okay. I guess I'll find him and deal with him another time. But right now, Darius is just interested in learning about like technology and stuff. So he's gonna go over to this welder dude.
This guy, he's like big and muscular. He's a half orc with a broken tooth on one side.
Nice. That's cool. Pardon me, sir.
His name is Yer.
Yer? Like, you're fooling me?
Never heard that one before.
So my dwarven associate over there told me that I could come to you with questions about technology and inventing.
Sure. And he kind of leans back in the chair that he was on and takes off his mask. What do you need to know?
Well, this probably won't help you much, but kind of everything. I've got a pretty great understanding of mechanics and ballistics, but I don't know how to apply any of the technology that comes out of the tower to anything that I've known before. How did you learn to get from where you were to where you are now?
Sam, who is this guy? Sam would come over. Well, he's a dwarf from Varnigno, same as the other one.
I've got an understanding. I've tinkered for a while. I make my own weapons, and like he'll pull out his like gun. He's like, "How do I get something like this, very physical and mechanical, to the kind of thing that those guards had posted on the front gate?"
Oh, like their energy swords?
Yeah. How do I get something as technologically advanced as that from where I am now?
Well, they use on their swords. They're retrofitted with with upgrade-styled crystals. Oh, he got a little something there. Mm-hmm. With upgrade-styled crystals.
I don't know what any of that means.
So yeah, we've been able to take some of the ideas from technology and apply it to physical weaponry in a way that upgrades. But I don't know if it's going to work on a ranged weapon. What is this, a hand cannon?
More or less, yeah. It's got the same principle, gunpowder. It's got a little pin that makes it explode and it sends a bullet right out.
He looks over it, actually, with a lot of interest. Ooh. Do you mind if I
please take a look.
He starts going over it. Mm-hmm. Fine dwarven craftsmanship.
Thank you.
I've only heard about tale of these. I've even tried to make one myself, but it kind of blew up in my face.
Oh, me too. That's why I got this. He's going to lift up his eye patch.
Oh, God.
It's like, that's what I get for being a little too gung-ho. But it works well, it suits my needs, and it kicks one hell of a punch.
I think the physicality's got a benefit to it. Maybe there's a way to increase.
So when you retrofit something, does the weapon itself just take on the properties of whatever crystal you apply to it, or?
It's sort of an elemental increase, enchantment-based magic.
So there's an equal parts magic, equal parts technological side to all of what you're doing.
There's a sort of logic inside of them that gives them a determining factor for how they act. We still don't quite understand how it all works. We've only been able to just outfit the guards with them. Mm-hmm. And they're honestly pretty limited in their potential. I think you're looking for something more advanced.
Nah, sure I am. Looks like I might be the one to figure it out.
Maybe we could set you up with a workshop?
That would be most pleasing.
I think you're going to have to talk to Archie about that one.
Well, next open slot he's got, I'll take his time.
And let's jump right into you up in Archie's tower.
Okay, cool.
There is this elevator-like structure that you step into in the far end of this courtyard. You step onto this stone slab, and an arcing rune underneath your feet lights up, and you begin to ascend.
Cool.
You can see the courtyard underneath you, and getting smaller as you travel up this wizard's tower. And you come into the center of a quaint-looking study, honestly, with the old man and his Archie, the Archmage. It's a completely reasonable name.
Yeah.
And he is writing. He's writing into a small leather-bound journal.
Hello there.
What can I do for you?
I would humbly ask and request for you to allow me to join your merry band of engineers and allow me to provide my skills and help you enlighten this world to the technological wonders of the tower.
This is a pre-recorded message.
What? You can't do that to me twice, come on.
Just kidding, it's just me.
Oh.
It's just me, don't worry. That's a little prank I like to pull on new people.
Oh.
It's quite funny.
It's hilarious.
I know. Doesn't Ollie.
Oh my god.
No.
So, would you grant my humble request?
I think I could make space for you. Yeah. What is it that you need, dwarf?
Honestly, I need access to, once it opens back up, or if I can get it open myself, I need access to the tower to find materials, and I need access to tools that you guys have figured out here to work on all of the things that I might find.
You understand that by us letting you do this, you can only reveal certain bits of information to people.
That's fine by me. I've kept secrets before, I could do it again.
All right. Let's get this all in order.
All right.
Just sign this contract here. He's gonna scoot it over.
Can I read it? Do I find anything weird about
it? It's a non-disclosure agreement, basically.
Okay.
It just says, like, under penalty of committing crimes against the town, the city of Aether, that you will maintain confidentiality.
All right.
Okay.
Darius will sign it.
All right. Boom.
All right. Wonderful.
It poofs. Ooh. He makes it poof. Well, anything else that you need from me?
Actually,
What's your name?
my name is Darius, sir.
Darius?
Indeed.
Anyway, what do you need?
Oh boy. I was curious if I could ask you, why have they closed the tower?
Well, with this recent information disclosure non-agreement that you've signed, the tower has been closed because it is dangerous.
I thought that was the whole point of going inside.
Particularly dangerous in the fact that things want to come out of it. Dangerous things. Entities that we do not know what they're capable of have, in the past month, attempted to escape, and that is why Izo has locked the gates.
How do you lock up something like that? Does it have a gate itself, or did you build something around it?
There's an arcane sigil inside that teleports you into the tower.
Then how does something escape from that if it's not sentient enough?
It's a two-way street. It's a connection. When the gates are opened from this side, it opens on the other. Things can pass through, even things we don't want. But it's okay. Maybe we could study it. Who knows? People might die, though.
Well, that's part of life, and that's part of exploring. You do what you need to do to make things better.
I wouldn't say that we should kill everyone.
Well, no, I'm not saying that either, sir. You're putting words in my mouth. I'm just saying, how are we expected to keep learning if we can't go in and find the things we're supposed to be learning about?
I think if you want to go any further in this line of conversation, you'll have to speak with Izo directly.
The sooner, if I get a chance, I'd love to do so.
I could set up a meeting for you.
So great.
He's a busy man, but I'm sure he can set aside time for someone who's interested in the tower and all of its goings-on. And you're not just some run-of-the-mill adventurer. You're a run-of-the-mill adventurer with a robot.
You sure know I sure am. Also, about Thordrick, what has he been doing here?
Oh, he's mostly been making toy mice. It's been quite entertaining. And he pulls out of his drawer several toy mice. His newest models, their squeak is much more enticing. Beep, beep.
Oh my gosh. Alright, let me ask you this. What have you been studying about Artemis? I assume he's the real reason why you're letting Thordrick keep stay around.
Oh, of course. He's completely incompetent.
Yes. So it seems. What have you found out about him? I haven't gotten much of a chance to learn. I found Voom on the side of the road.
He's fundamentally different in nature than the tower and the technology that comes from it. He is built in pieces that we would recognize. The things that come from the tower have a power source. They function in some way. The bits that make up our Warforged friends are pieced together without a power source. They just function.
Right. It's like I've worked on a few of these small pieces myself. My master in Creator, he allowed me to make a few of the small joints and pieces that we put them together. But I was curious if you found anything specific about his personality.
He's quite a rambunctious one.
So I've seen. Voom here is quite different. Have you figured out how Artemis speaks?
Artemis can speak, but has refused in the past month. We do not know why. But, he was quite eloquent, in fact.
Interesting. What kind of things did he say?
He talked about philosophy quite a bit. About the meaning of life and why things are the way they are. He had some heated debates with one of our local professors, in fact. And then he sort of just shut down.
Interesting. I think I'll have to do some research on him myself. All right. Well, I'll be seeing you, Archmaester. Or not Archmaester.
Archmaester.
Archmage. Oh my gosh. Archmage, thank you for this opportunity.
Anytime. This has been a pre-recorded message.
I'm sure it has, sir. And then Darius will go back down the elevator.
You'll never know.
Okay.
Good grief.
Oh boy. If he can find his workshop, he's going to sit down. He's going to pick up if you can give me a crystal, like one of the crystals, and he's going to set it down next to Rosie and then pick up his tools.
Okay. Darius begins tinkering and starting to work with these strange energy sources. And I think that's where this little side story ends.
Cool.
All right.
You gave me a lot more information than I was expecting.
That's a lot.
Woo! Cool.
All right.